Hello, my peeps, and welcome to the April 2026 kit, Paper Pumpkin Kit, Lakeside Retreat. I will preface this video by saying I have started this video an hour ago, and I've been having some sound issues with previous videos, so my IT department and I have spent the last hour doing stuff, and got a new microphone. Not a new microphone. I actually have a microphone now. So I'm hoping the sound will be better. I am going to try to be a little more careful. I talk with my hands more than anything. I don't think I yell a lot, but just until we get used to the new microphone, let's see how things go. Now, today is actually Friday, the 10th of April. And today is the deadline to subscribe to this kit if you want Paper Pumpkin. And normally, sorry, I just realized I lost my piece of paper. Normally, we would not I would not have an April kit to show you. But if you were watching my previous, I don't know which video, there's going to be a lot of repetition in my videos for the next week or two because since holidays, I've been trying to fix so many things and do so many things, and I've had discussions with people, and now I don't remember who I told what. To be honest, I just have no clue. So, yeah, maybe you heard this, maybe didn't, maybe it's new. I do know that the videos that I made before I left on holidays, that's the ones that were having the sound. So I'm going to redo a couple of those, and I'm going to try to make sure people understand this is a redo, but I'm redoing them with the actual stuff now. Before I had a picture of a stamp pad, now I have a stamp pad. So I'm going to do a bunch of those things. So yeah, you got a big long intro into today's video. I have this video ahead of time because I got it as a freebie at On Stage, because at On Stage they announced that Paper Pumpkin will now be global. So for the 13 years, Paper Pumpkin turned 13 in March of this year. For the 13 years, it was only available in North America. And for some of that time, I'm not sure if that's still the case, it wasn't even available in Quebec. It was available in US, Canada, except Quebec. And I want to say except it might have been like Puerto Rico and some of the, I can't remember the right territories of the United States. I don't know if it was available there. But it's apparently going to be global now. So the European demos, I was at On Stage in Cologne, and they were some excited. So I think the April kit is going to be very popular. Sorry, my camera's just a little bit oh my god, the stuff we've done. And I still have to finish cleaning my desk now because we had to move everything, and I changed the computer out. I moved the old laptop out. It's now my new desktop. We have a microphone, we have speakers, we have everything. So outside of this calm little area that you can see is chaos, because now I'm just going to test this before we finalize everything. Anyways, yeah, they were nuts for this thing. So I'm showing you the whole kit now. I'm doing the put together video now. So that if you're interested, you can subscribe before tonight, 11 o'clock tonight, 11:59, I think it actually is. Because the difference with, I just had a piece of paper. So I have this little handout, right? What is Paper Pumpkin? And there's the different ways you can do it and stuff. And the one thing I need to add on to this piece of paper is the difference between a refill and a full kit and the add-on. So I kind of missed the aftermarket type stuff. But here's the thing. If you want this kit, everything that's in the box I'm about to open and show you, you have to be a subscriber, right? And you have to subscribe by the 10th. Now you can subscribe and then you can skip months if you don't want them, or you could, there's lots of different things. If you have questions about that, let me know. But the only way you're guaranteed to get everything that comes out in Paper Pumpkin is to be a subscriber, because they make enough for the subscribers. So today is the day it cuts off. So it will start processing on the weekend. Monday, they will start selling or mailing them out. Shipping them out. They don't really mail them. And then come the 20th, they'll do a second run. So if anybody's had a glitch on their credit card or something didn't happen, they do kind of like a second run. This does not buy you time to subscribe. The subscription deadline is still the 10th of each month if you want that month's kit. So you want the April kit, you need to subscribe by the 10th of April to get this kit. Then as soon as the second run, the fix-it run kind of thing has gone on the 20th, usually it's the 21st or the first business day. It seems to be coming earlier. It doesn't seem to matter now if it's a weekend. So let's say on the 21st, now they'll announce if they have extra kits left over, then sometimes they will have a full kit, and sometimes they will have just the refill kit. So if you get the refill kit does not come with stamps or the ink spot. Okay, so that's a significant difference. Now, if you already have the kit and all you want is more of the paper stuff to make more of the cards, you don't need a new ink spot or stamp set. So, I mean, there's a reason why refills are refills. But just to let you know, okay, I just gotta figure out how to show you. There we go. So right now, I'm just on the Stampin' Up website. And so you see this. So there's no guarantee. So this is the kit. This is the refill kit that came from the March paper pumpkin. All they have is the refill. These are the add-on dies, which I've explained before. So this one is just a refill kit. This one they actually had full kits left. So you can tell the difference. The older ones, there's going to be different prices, but so this is the January kit. So this is 36. It's going to go up to something else. When you order your stuff off the Stampin' store, like after the fact, you have to pay shipping and tax on it. When you order the subscription, it includes the shipping, and then you just pay tax because that varies depending on where you are. But so you can see like there's past kits. Some of them are refills, some of them are full. Like, but it's very hit or miss. You never know what it's going to be. Like I said, this one's going to be a popular kit, I think. So, but let's stop blathering and get on with showing you the kit. Okay, it's called Lakeside Retreat. Another reason to show you ahead of time is because it's freaking awesome, and maybe you want one or two or three or four. So look at those cards. Okay, those are amazing. Let me just open this to the right page. It shows what goes with what card. So the instructions are great. Oh, I will tell you, I noticed this when I opened it the first time because it comes with a stamp set, right? And so if I show you this stamp set and say, so if you want the stamp set, make sure, it's kind of hard to see a see-through stamp set, isn't it? So there used to be like a separate sheet of paper. I still have my March kit sitting here handily. This is the March kit. So in the March kit, which I haven't actually opened, I was on holidays. I was a little behind. So this is the March kit. Oh, just grabbed the wrong scissors because I'm in a rush. Okay, so this is what they used to have. And it was always in between the instructions and the cardboard. There was this piece of paper. So the March kit, because it was the anniversary month, there was a second stamp set. Normally you get one, but March they always throw something extra. There's been embellishments in them. There's been one year it was a set of 5 markers. There's been various things, but the March kit always has something extra because it's the anniversary month. So again, I try to show you this means squat. But if I show you this, now you can see what the stamps look like. So this is what they used to include. And one of the tips was fold it in half and put some tear and tape on 2 sides, and you've now just made a little pocket, and you can throw your stamp sets in the pocket. Okay, so that's what they used to do. So starting with this April kit, they're changing it. And I just happened to notice it, and I thought, huh. But then I saw a video that that Stampin' Up put out, and she did comment on it. So now, instead of having a separate piece of paper, they're just showing the stamp set thingy on the back of the instructions. These are great instructions. So a lot of people save the instructions and they save this. So they're part of it. They're probably saving paper. But it also gives you it all in one spot. So if you want to save the stamp set after the fact, you can look at this thing and go, well, look at this. Isn't this a nice layout? And you can cut something out of a circle die. There's always some kind of scenery DSP, it seems. You could do that, add a few things on, or maybe you like this simpler layout, or maybe you like this with the, right? So keeping these instructions, a lot of people do save them. So maybe they just decided if they're saving them anyways, why not do it this way? You could have this in a binder with the stamp set in with it, like who knows? But anyways, just so you know, this is the stamp set that comes with it. So older, wiser, better. Come on, how awesome is that? You're a lifesaver. Like, thanks, you're a lifesaver. Love that. You're an inspiration. Happy birthday, happy Father's Day. And then the dad and son are separate. Plus then we have some more M-birds. This is just like a little rope kind of pattern thing. And then you got to love the cattails. So this is a stamp set. So if you want the stamp set and you want the Peaceful Pine, which was one of the new in colors, you want the spot, you have to subscribe because I don't think there's going to be a ton of them left over. There might be. If this goes and after, maybe they're making extra because it's new this month to the global market. I don't know. I would rather just do the easy way and not be disappointed afterwards, quite honestly. So yeah, subscribe by 11:59 it is tonight. If you want to make sure you get this kit with the stamp spot and the stamp set. Excuse me. I've been talking a lot trying to get the sound figured out on this thing. So here's the thing with the instructions. Pictures of the projects. This first flap that opens up tells you which pieces go on which card, and then open it one more, and here's the individual one, and it shows you here's what you stamp. Because and I don't look at the instructions very much. I'm trying to get better about it so you guys actually see what it's supposed to be, because sometimes I forget you're supposed to stamp on the card before you put stuff onto it. And then it shows you, like, it even shows you how many embellishments go with each card. If their suggestion is, dimensionals, or if it's glue dots, or if it's tear and tape, you can make this however you want. And there is a huge, like, the people that do with paper pumpkin, there's a huge amount of people that do alternatives. I'm going to start doing something called Stretch the Kit, and show you like what the basic projects are, and then how you can stretch the kit and make more stuff with it. The other thing that goes with that theory, which I gotta figure out what I did with the darn thing. I think I buried it under the box. Yes, is each time, like each quarter, there's a set of dies that come out. So this set of dies just came out January, February, March, April, May, June. Yes, I have to do it. And why do I do it on my finger? I don't know, because I'm a grown up. So for the April, May, June kits, this is the set of dies that coordinate. So I do know that the firework looking one goes with May, and I think the word wonderful is also part of the May kit. We don't normally see ahead of time, so we just get teasers. I do know that I've seen a sneak peek of some of the elements of the May kit, and so I know for sure it's the firework. I just missed where the wonderful went. And then April, May, June. So the June kit is more floral. So I'm pretty sure the butterflies and these flowers are for that. This is the die that is designated to be the companion with the April kit. And it makes a little sign. So when I get the new dies, I always like to play. So these are two things I've shown already, but this was just putting all of the stuff, like almost all of the stuff on one card. But I just wanted to see how the die turned out and how everything works and what they look like. And then this one, you got to get the right angle. It's darker cardstock. Oh, there we go. So this one makes the firework looking things, right? And then I just added some colors behind it. So anyway, so those are like, gives you an idea of what the dies can do. I made this card. Somebody need a home card. I absolutely love this card. This is from the old retired golf set, but it's just the perfect sprig of grass. But we have lots of grass dies. This is retired, the home. But this sign, I absolutely love this sign. And I think this looks just like a realtor sign. And then the little welcome home. This welcome home is new from the service. It's in the March exclusives. I'll have to look it up. The military set, basically. But this sign's going to get a lot of use. My goodness, I like that sign. So anyways, between the kit itself, and then if you want to use the add-on dies, there's all sorts of things you can do. But let's get to showing you what these cards are supposed to look like. And oh my goodness, yes, have I got a mess on my desk. Okay. I'm trying to do it without, I can't knock Smokey over. That's a throwback to my my earlier career. As soon as I started forestry school, in 1989. My dad started calling me Smokey, and I was Smokey ever after. Okay, I just gotta move some things around so I can put stuff. Okay, so this one has tear and tape just because of the nature of how the things go together. It has, we used to sell these, and I will admit I still hoard them. The ones we sold had a couple different colors and shapes. So these little embellishments that look like little rocks. Oh God, I love them so much. So there's some of those. All of a sudden, I can't get the Ziploc bag open. And then there is mini dimensionals as well. Each kit will have a different, they pretty much always have dimensionals, I think. Sometimes they have glue dots. Sometimes they have tear and tape. Sometimes they have twine. I think most of the time there's some kind of embellishment. Not really sure. We'll put those there. Okay, so I'm going to sort these out as I go. So envelopes, look at these beautiful envelopes. And a lot of times people will make, I don't have time today, unfortunately, to do the stretch the kit. I said I'm going to start doing it. Unfortunately, I can't do it with this kit just because of timing. But A lot of people will take the envelopes because they do such a good job, and some of these envelopes are so pretty. And you can open up the envelope and use this like DSP, and then just replace it with a plain white envelope. Because look at how pretty some of these envelopes are. Oh, good lord, that's adorable. Love it. Okay, and then we'll have, oh, I got a couple more envelopes. I feel like I have more envelopes and cards here. So then, and this is another thing when you're making the most of these kits, is they do such a good job on them though. Look at these, look at how pretty this card base is. Now, if you want, you can split down the middle. This is one card base, this is one card base, and just mount it onto plain white cardstock, right? Like your own card bases, and that will save you, you get 2 cards out of 1. Same as this one. Look at this one with the beautiful wood background. Well, that can make 2 cards. And then this one, I love this blue stripe. Oh, good lord, I love the blue stripe. Okay. And then, so one of the, I gotta move these out of the way. So one of the things I like to do, so if you're going to make the cards just as is, and there's nothing wrong with just making the cards as is, that's kind of how the kits are designed. But you want to make sure, and sometimes the kits are very, like, because they're printed on the front, they're very colorful. So if you're a little bit crooked in lining them up, the white inside really shows. So I'm always very careful about doing this, so that when I do it, and I'm looking here, I have a nice straight edge, so I'm not looking past something, but oh my god, look at this card. This card's gorgeous without anything on it. Okay. So, and same thing, if you had decided, oh, here's the other thing I should tell you. On the back of the here, it kind of shows you a picture of what's in it and tells you the kit components, like it makes 9 cards or whatever. But the key thing, if you're looking at it and you're like, is that this or that? So like I'm thinking this is, and because they do tones, it's hard to tell sometimes, but I'm thinking it's maybe Misty Moonlight. I think it's just a slightly lighter version of Misty Moonlight. But if I wanted to cut this in half and put it on 2 card bases, and I want to know for sure, I can look here. So it says Stampin' Up! Colors, Azure Afternoon. This is not Azure Afternoon. I'm going to guess one of the elements maybe are. Oh yeah, I think that this is more Azure and the Life Jacket. Balmy Blue, nope, too dark. Cajun Craze, Crisp Cantaloupe, Grey Granite, Misty Moon. Oh, there's Misty Moonlight. It probably is. Old Navy, Peaceful Pine, Pecan Pie, Pool Party, Soft Sea Foam, and Very Vanilla. So it gives you the coordinating colors on the back. So if you're having trouble trying to figure out which one's which, just look on the back. Okay, so that is our thing. Now this one, same thing. I'm particular about, so I line my cards up. And sometimes I will actually get out my silicone mat because then they don't slide. But I'm finding I can do this. So I've got, like, I've lined up my corners, and then I'm putting the grip on it. That's what my dad used to say when I would help them with construction. Put a grip on it. So I do it so it doesn't slide, because then I have my nice even edge. Is it the end of the world if they're slightly off? No. You can trim them or you can just live with it, because it's honestly not the end of the world. But I am particular. So I have figured out a way that works for me. And like I said, if you're doing like a card base that is just regular cardstock where all 4 sides of the card are the same color, it's not as noticeable. But for something like this where you have like a dark background, if you're off a little bit, it just makes it slightly more noticeable on a printed card base. So, and your bone folder is your friend. It really does. It works better than like using your finger or your nail or whatever. This works better. I got my things off kilter. Okay, so there is the thing. Now, as I'm taking my kit apart, I do like to start with the bigger pieces first. There's lots of labels and all sorts of things. So I do like to start with the bigger ones first. Okay, so we have this. So this one I know from looking at the instructions is the middle piece of this. I'm going to throw the extra parts back in here. I'm just going to show you one of each card just in the interest of time. There we go. I need that box to stop closing on me. So then we have sheets of stuff. So you can tell when I open this up, I've got 3 sheets of this. I got 3 cards, which chances are there's going to be one thing for each card on this sheet. So this round die cut, and careful popping the die cuts out so you don't rip something you don't want to rip. I like to put my thumb close to the, like where the little, I don't know, I'm sure there's a little thing, the little nib, the little nipple, whatever it is, on there. This one I got to assume goes with that card. Oh my, see, look at this. Like you barely put, I didn't even put anything on hardly, and it's flipping awesome. This one. Oh, see, in this one I'm a little, I'm already debating whether I want to do this one the way they tell me to, because I'm covering up part of the boat as I do it. You could do it this way too, I guess, if you wanted to, and then you're covering up the dock and not the boat. So we'll see when we actually get down to it. Okay, so then I got that green strip. I have a little strip here of a little wooden strip, which is going on this one. I have some oars, which are I'm looking at the instructions as I go, which are going on this one. So here's the thing, as far as stretching your kits going. I'm looking at these kits thinking they have got a lot going on here, and they are beautiful cards. But you can also like scale back on some of the die cuts and use like stamps instead and stretch your kit a little bit. And in some cases, I forgot to tell you this one. This one actually coordinates with a suite that is coming up in the new May to August catalog called Waterside. This one's called Lakeside Retreat. Oh, my squeaky chair. The other one is called Waterside Retreat. Just a minute, where's the bike? The bike goes with the scenery. Okay, now a lot of people will keep these and do all sorts of things with them. I am not one of those people. Okay, so this is, I don't have the stamp set. There's a stamp set and set of dies that coordinate with this. They have the chair. I'm looking in the catalog because I can't actually show you. They have the chair and some greenery and some stamps that coordinate with this. I did, though, order some of the components. So this is the little like anchor trinkets that go with the suite that coordinates. And this is the DSP. So I'm going to show you real quick, just so you know. So you can't get this yet. I got it because I'm a demo and I get to pre-order, right? So there's 2 sheets of this, but I'll show you in a minute the cut up one. Love the stripe. We have fish. We have waves. Oh, this one here with the seagulls. It's the whole page. Oh, I'm going to pull it out of here and never get it back in again, but that's okay. For you guys, I will do that. Look at this one. Is this not amazing? So there's 2 of those. We have boys and wood on the back of that one. And then life jackets and paddles and the funky stripes on the back of that one. So this is this great paper pack. And then this first sheet that I have that has the stripes on the back actually cuts apart to make all of these little bits and pieces. So there's, and this seems big. I think the reason they did this is for scrapbooking, but also I know because I went to the make and takes in Europe. So instead of being the North American sizes, I got the European sizes. I can never remember whose is A4 and whose is A5. In Europe, taller and thinner. Maybe that's like the people. North American, shorter and wider. So this is a little bit longer than a card base, but you could easily trim it down. Like this is the same as this, right? You could easily trim this down to make another base. We have this side view, which is a version of this. It comes in the DSP. This is a version of that, but it's a little bit bigger. So you have options to trim or die cut or do whatever. This one, look at the little ice cream shop. This is a cute little like map, like a wall map of the lake. There's another one. It's kind of a hybrid of a couple of them. Then we have that one's a little bit of a label. That one's just like a marina scene. Some fishermen talking. Little fish tag. Right? So this is that one page. If you cut it apart on the lines, you'll get all sorts of like little elements. So that's part of stretching this kit too, is you can recreate or extend some of these cards. If you really like it, you wait till the 21st. You go online. You look in your Stampin' Up! Store. But you have to be a subscriber to be able to see these things. I can always see, I can always tell you, and I can always help you out. And then if you want to get, like you want to make more of these cards and you order a refill, the refill is, I think it's like 19 something. And it gives you all of the card pieces. Like I said, everything other than the stamp set and the ink spot is what comes in there. Now, the other thing, oh, look at that. I was going to say sometimes, just because of the way the die cuts work, this is where that whole thing started. Just because of the way the die cuts work, sometimes you end up with extra pieces in the kit that you can use to make extra cards. So this one goes there. So this, I have 3 of these, which means, oh no, this is going to be the exact same. Sometimes, usually it's the labels that there's extras of, but sometimes just because of the way they are, they'll like cut a whole sheet of something and you end up with like 1 or 2 extras. Or you can always have the choice to change it out and do it how you want and not follow their instructions as well. That one goes there. So this one, so this is one of them. So this is, there's 3 of each card, but there's 4 of each label. So you basically have 1 extra label of each. So that helps if you make a mistake and it's like you're too picky and you want, like me, and you want to do it again. But it also works if you're making alternatives or extra cards. So there's that one goes there. This little dude goes with the boat. Now, and this is the thing. There's a, sorry, I'm going to cough. There's, two schools of thought. Some people find it easier to leave their little labels in this piece and stamp them in here. Because of these extra pieces, because they overshoot right with the color, I find it harder. I find it harder to see the edges, and I prefer to pop mine out. And I go one further, and when I'm stamping on labels, especially the white labels, but I like to put them on my mat so I can very clearly see where the edge of my label is. So as you see me popping them out, if you're cringing over there and you would much rather stamp them in the thing like this, to each their own. I'm just saying, for me, it doesn't work, especially the white ones. And the problem with putting your white one right directly on your glass mat or on your white grid paper is you can't see the edges as well. So that's why I use the silicone mat. Okay, so that one goes there. And then I have one that is sort of half rounded. That goes with the bike. And then I have another one. Oh, I have a bigger square and a smaller square. Okay, so they both go... Oh, no. The rounded one hangs down. That one goes in. Oh, no, they do. So they both go inside of their pieces. Like inside of the little... That's the sign theme that's going. Oh, I think I might have actually just lucked out and got them right. So one of these things is like slightly bigger than the other, though. But I think the blue thingy-majiggy... Oh, no. You know what? They are the same size. One just has a bigger border. So if it's not obvious to you, when I do these kits, I tend to not look at them. The only reason that this one was open already, like I took the cellophane off earlier, was because I was looking for the piece of paper for the stamp set to show somebody the stamp set. I don't look at the kits ahead of time. So I'm discovering it at the same time as you. Whether that's a good idea or a bad idea, who knows? But that's how I end up doing it. So I need the other thing is, when you get your first paper pumpkin, like your initial subscription, the first kit you get, it will have a block in it like this. You get a D block, one of these like slightly skinnier ones. I actually have some that say paper pumpkin. This is from a kit. They stopped selling the ones that specifically say paper pumpkin, so now I'm not really sure. If you used to be able to buy them separately. Oh, look at that. They're like slightly skinnier. So this one says paper pumpkin etched in the side. You got to get just the right angle to see it, though. Anyways, trust me. It says it. So you get one. And then every kit afterwards, you don't get a block. But all of the stamps, any stamp you get in a paper pumpkin kit, some of them I look at and I'm like, oh, that's huge. That's never going to fit. But any kit you get in a Stampin' Up! Paper pumpkin kit will fit on a D block. Now, when I'm putting my stuff together, because I have a little tray just sitting off camera here with, I don't know, 40 blocks in it. So I'm using the other ones, and I tend to, because I can, I tend to make things easy on myself, and I use all the different sizes. So if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber and you're also a stamper and you've got lots of blocks, then you're laughing. But if you're just starting out and like you're starting into Paper Pumpkin, yes, you get one block, but then each paper pumpkin kit you get, you're going to earn Stampin' rewards on. And then eventually you'll have Stampin' rewards that you want to spend to buy something. Well, one of the things I would suggest is, if you're looking for, hey, how am I going to spend my Stampin' rewards, is start buying yourself some of the blocks. And I would buy the different size ones, because as nice as it is to have like one big block that everything can fit on, for some of the smaller stamps, I just personally find it easier to use a slightly smaller block. They take up less room as well. So that's one of the things. So as I'm going to do my kit today, you'll notice I'm just going to grab a whole bunch of blocks because I have them. I also tend to, instead of using the adhesives that come in the kits, I tend to leave these ones like this, because if somebody leaves my class and they're not quite finished, then I can give them like little bits and pieces of my kits that they can take with them, so they have stuff to finish at home if they need. And I use my glue dots and my snail and I have like an entire thing of adhesives on my desk, right? So just so you're knowing, if you're new to paper pumpkin and you're not used to it, it comes with certain things in the kit. I tend to supplement with the many, many things on my desk. Okay, so let's get a little bit going here. I do not have a piece of paper. One of the things I'm going to recommend, and I'm going to recommend this with any photopolymer stamp set, is before you start stamping, you're going to want to like just kind of condition your oh, you know what I just realized? I always use my full size stamp pads, but I haven't actually opened my full size of this yet. The new stamp pads. So I'm actually going to use the new one. I just need a second to open it because I hadn't actually got that far. So my next video that I'm doing is a redo of the video on the magnetic pads because it had really bad sound on it. That's what started this whole nightmare of IT. So I'm not going to go into a whole big description, but this is one of the new in colors. This will give you a much better look at it. And that's the spot that comes in the April kit. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to do it and just not give you guys any extra information. You'll just have to trust me. They're very cool and you'll learn more about it in the next video. Okay, so how I like to do it is I like to stamp my labels and get as much stuff stamped as I can before I start assembling, just because I tend to forget things. So, like I said, the instructions will tell you everything. So we're going to just start with this card. Just why? Because it's on the right. So you can see on here, it's telling you that we're going to take, and you can choose it, whatever sentiment you want to put on it. But it shows that we're going to use a sentiment in the middle of the label. And we're going to take that little rope looking accent and put it on either side. And then you are an inspiration. Must be on the end. Oh no, that goes on the other little label. Sorry, I was missing what it was doing. And then we're going to stamp the cattails on one side here, and we're going to stamp the birds. You know why I call M birds? Because you know when you were a little kid and you did this to draw and you made like little M's to make M. Those are for like I'm 59 years old. Those are still M birds. They are more than likely meant to be seagulls, maybe? I don't know. No, this is a lake versus an ocean. I don't have any idea. Birds are not my thing. I know bird people though. Anyways, and then stamp the birds on them. So here's the other thing I will give you as an option. Stampin' Up! Gives you one. I think there's been a couple times, but not very often, where they'll put 2 ink spots in a kit, but generally it's just one. And then everything you stamp in one color. And the designers have made these cards beautiful. But if you decide you want to stamp in different colors because you have different colors, then do that. But any stamping they're doing, they're designing it to do it with this one color. Okay, so I am going to, like I said before I forget, I'm going to stamp these things. So I need to stamp my cattails. And I need to stamp my birds. By the time I'm done, I will have taken probably everything off of here. And like I said, you can pick and choose. I do not actually need a Father's Day card. So I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday instead of Happy Father's Day. Just because. And like I said, they show you a design of how to do it, but it's your kit. You do whatever you want. On occasion, this one is not so bad. This one, I think everything fits everywhere. Sometimes they'll have a specific, like the shape of the label is really conducive to maybe 1 or 2 of the stamps. You can't pick any one you want. But if you're a regular Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you're also going to have a whole lot of stamps by the time you're done, because each month you're getting a new stamp set. And I still have a bin that I have all the old ones in, because there's some that are awesome, right? And so I will go back my Easter one. And so Easter, Valentine's, and Halloween, I go back to all the time and stamp. What else am I doing? I feel like I have 5 things there. Bird. Oh, the inspiration one. But see, because I'm doing Happy Birthday, I'm gonna do Older, Wiser, Better, which I think is hilarious. I love it. Okay, there's my 5 things. Put that off to the side. Okay, so what I like to do to condition my stamp, there's lots of things. You can buff them, you can this them, that them. I find the easiest thing is just ink them up, stamp, and squeege. Right? So I just kind of give them a little bit of a twist. I'll ink them up another time. Got to get used to the new felt pads again. When I first started, we had felt pads, and then we switched to the foam. And they're just... Sorry, that was really loud. Getting used to how everything is set up. Okay, so yeah, you just got to get used to the thing. And my favorite thing about these new ink pads is going to be the people who insist on pushing as hard as they possibly can aren't going to make the mess they used to on them now. Okay, so this is intended to go over here in the corner. I'm just going to stamp that down there. The other thing that I like about these stamp sets, and I will tell you, because there's, you know the rule, no naked insides and envelopes. I just got to get to one of the envelopes. Now, in this case, maybe it's a little weird. If the envelope has already got design on them, you're probably okay. A lot of times, these extra little stamps that come, you could stamp on here. Now, it might look a little weird to put a set of cattails in the middle of the sky. So maybe you don't do that. But on the inside of your card, now is a good time to stamp. And this one, the cattails work perfectly for this. Now, what works better on the middle of the sky? Birds. So same thing. I'm gonna get some ink on them. I'm gonna put them down and I'm gonna squish, because there's just the manufacturing process can leave like a little film on here, and you're basically just trying to get the film off the stamp, and then stamp again and just make sure. And it's just, the idea is just to get a cleaner, clean look. And these guys, I'm looking at the instructions every now and again because I realize that if I put the things in the wrong spot, like this has a strip that goes up here. So if I put it in the wrong spot, I'm covering my birds. So I did that, but I can also take this now and I can add some little birds here because it's the sky and it makes sense. Okay. I could also put the birds on the inside. I could put both stamps on the inside. I could put that one there. They don't always work this way, but in this case it does. And I can put birds there. There we go. Okay, see, look at this. Like this is a nice card, and I've barely even finished the card. Okay, so that one goes there. This one is the older, what does that say? Older, wiser, better. And we do want to make sure that we are, in this case, we're cleaning it off, but we're also making sure that we're stamping right side up. This particular one, it does not matter. Oh, no, those ones it doesn't either. Sometimes the labels have marks on them that it actually matters that you're doing it in the right direction. This one does not, but that's okay. Older, wiser, better. Again, it's stuck. Oh my god, I did that really well. Shockingly, because I'm only sort of half paying attention. And then this one is, keep doing this. I meant to, there we go. I gotta do that. Actually, no, now that I did that, I'm actually going to put the happy birthday in the middle first, and then I'm going to put the things on the outside, because otherwise I'm just totally guessing. Okay, so like I said, on the instructions it says, yeah, see this one? No. The other ones have all been colored. It's been okay. But this one I can't see the edges unless I use my silicone mat. That's another thing you can use your Stampin' Rewards for. Silicone mat and extra blocks are the way to go. Adhesives, never go wrong with adhesives. Okay, so now that that's stamped and I can actually see what I'm doing, I'm going to put the little rope trim. I think it's moving on me. I'll put the little rope trim and I'm going to try to get it so I have the same top and bottom spacing. Okay, so I have my happy birthday. Now, if you wanted to, and maybe I will because I got all the stuff everywhere. Okay, so that's this card. Let me just put all my stuff back here for a second because it's all spread out everywhere. Let's look for the next card. I usually do one card and then assemble, one card and then assemble, but because I have stuff everywhere on my desk. You know what? I'm using the same stamps pretty much well, not exactly the same stamps, but I'm just going to close this up. But yeah, instead of taking these all off and washing them, I'm going to leave them because a bunch of them are going to get reused. I'm just going to move that off to the side and we will assemble. Okay, so it is telling us, and this is the part where I tend to go rogue, because I love dimensionals. And sometimes I like dimensionals where they want. But I like to do a dry fit. So it is telling me to put this on dimensionals. And I'm covering part of my boat. And that's the part that's, like I said, if you wanted to put it on the other side, you should have probably decided that before you stamp the birds. But you could always stamp more birds. But, oh, see, there's just too many things. Like you're covering up something or covering up. There's too many good things on here that you're covering up. If I do it all the way over, which is what I'm inclined to do, then I cover all the trees. I like the trees. So I'm going to just put it here and see how that works out. This one. See, this one, it's telling you to use tear and tape, but if you have liquid glue, if your preference is liquid glue, then use liquid glue. And if your preference is seal, use seal. And if you want tear and tape, use tear and tape. Tear and tape is what came in the kit that it's recommending you use to put the birthday label on the sign. So this is the sign, right? Older, wiser, better, like that. And then the little fish on it. So it is putting this on dimensionals and just part of those. I like the dimensional part, so you know I'm putting dimensionals on them. Because this is such a long piece, I'm going to put a lot of dimensionals on it because I don't want it all saggy. And then these ones, because they're kind of half on this and half off it, are going to be partially seal and partially dimensionals, just depending where it hits. You'll see in a minute what I mean, if that doesn't make any sense. I do think the corners, I'm kind of doubling up there, but I think the corners need the stuff. Alrighty. So yes, if your preference, and that's what I was debating, but then I'm like, no, I'm going to go with this because maybe I can peek underneath and see the good stuff that I'm covering up. If your preference is to stick this down flat, and then these can all just go on dimensionals without having to think about it, you can do that too. So attempt to put it vertical and get it straight. I think mine's actually pretty good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to, so they have theirs kind of, to do this is like, I think is way over to the side. Theirs is actually offset this way, which does kind of look a little bit better. And there's more detail on this side than this side. So I kind of like that idea. If it bothers you that it's offset though, maybe move this over a bit to center it. So you see how part of this is hitting on, so this part is hitting raised up and this one isn't. So we need some dimensionals there. Now you can put them directly on the back of this, and I do it like 7 times as I try to make sure I have the right side. So I can put like this. So now this is propped up, this has dimensionals, right? So we're doing that on all our pieces. Then we're going to put this one. So I need, now this one is skinnier and where it's hitting. So I'm also, I'll show you a different way you can do it. See, seriously, I do it like how many times before I realize that I just want to make sure I'm putting them on the right end of the sticky thing. That one goes there. And then this one, I'm going to do this one the other way. Okay, so now I want to put a little bit here because that's fully onto the sign or onto the stripe. I'm going to take that off. I already picked that one up, did I? Sometimes you don't think about what you're doing next and you freshly cut your nails and then you have 0 way to pick the dimensional backings off. Okay, so now I got that going that way. Now this one I can't put the whole way because it's it goes off the other side of the stripe. So I'm just putting a little smidge there. Taking those off. And then I'm lining this up so it's just over the top. Not centered. I think just a little bit more. Oh my goodness, do I like this card. Okay, so now this one I want to put here. But I want to make sure that I'm hitting like the right spot that because this one there's not a lot of space. I have to hit the exact right space on this tiny piece. Or I can make my life easier and just put the dimensional on the card because then I know I'm not going to hit either one of those 2 pieces. And I think unless I have 2 dimensionals on something, then I'm going to make sure I have like some other point of contact. I don't think there's room for 2 dimensionals here. So I'm going to do it this way. Oh my good Lord, look at how cute that is. Right? And then it tells you right on your card, it shows you down here that you have 5 rocks. So 5 embellishments for this card. Now, if you're going to stretch this out and use it some more, I'm looking, where did they put 5? Okay, so they put 3 of them over here and then 2 of them over here. So if you decide you want to save some to make some extra cards or stretch your kit a bit, then don't put all 5 on, but it's your choice. Just know that if you make all of the cards exactly the way they say, it tells you how many they've allotted per card, right? So in this case, they've allotted us 5. So I'm picking. There's another thing you can use your Stampin' Rewards on. Get yourself a take your pick tool. Sometimes I don't want to scratch these, but sometimes if it's a little hard, I find all you have to do is pick up. Like instead of leaving this on the table, just pick it up so you got a little bit of bend, and you can do that way. And I'm going to put. So there's 2 different sizes. There's a long skinny one and then a shorter. And I'm doing this because it actually gives me a little bit of a. I'm putting 2 there. It actually gives me a bit of a like a base, because otherwise my stamp is just kind of sitting there. And I'm going to tuck this big rock just a little bit in there. And then I'm actually going to put these on the other side instead of, they had 3 and 2, but like I said, it's your card. You do what you want. And I'm going with a slightly different arrangement for my rocks, but I'm putting all 5 of them on there. So there we go. I love that card. Love that card. Okay. 2 more. I realized I had a lot of extra on this video because I was explaining a lot of, because I have a feeling there'll be lots of first-time Paper Pumpkin people trying to get the lowdown on Paper Pumpkin. So I did kind of go a little extra. Okay, so this one but they'll get faster now that I'm done rambling so much. Where? How come I'm looking at this card, but I'm honestly not seeing where is that piece? Oh, it's right along the bottom. Oh, well, it just made it longer. Look at that. Okay. So according to the instructions on this one, we are also going to I gotta open my ink back up. I have stuff everywhere now. The more as I go, boom, everything. Okay, so we are going to put, and I've already conditioned these, so I don't have to do it a second time. We're putting some birds. I probably should have tapped a little longer so that one got a better print, but I don't have to do them again. And then we are putting some cattails here and some cattails here. Oops, I just about dropped the stamp onto the card. And then this one, well, this one they actually did say happy birthday. And I am doing happy birthday because this card, I know who this card is going to with the bike on it. So this one, this is going to tuck under. So we don't want to be like too close to the top. But since I already have all these same stamps out again, I'm not going to do all of them to say the exact same thing. But I do need more birthday cards than anything right now. So that one. And then I am going to do the older, better, wiser because I like it. So yeah, the white makes a difference. This one, it wouldn't have mattered if I was on the other screen, but I do, it also, I think, keeps it from maybe moving around a little bit more. Oh my goodness, that's 2 for 2 on the skinny ones. The skinny ones are the hard ones, as you may have guessed, to get exactly in the right spot. Okay. So now, with this one, oh, it's popping this up. Alrighty then. The one thing I will show you, because this is the mini ones, so I'm going to show you my other favorite thing, because I'm putting this on here, which makes me want to reach for my big ones. So you can see these are the mini, right? But you do not ever waste anything in crafting. So when I get a new set, as you can tell because they're missing here, I go around and I tend to cut the edges, and I usually do it as soon as I've taken like the first one out. So I will cut these ones into kind of longer, skinnier ones, like these 2 edges. And then these ones end up being a little bit like skinnier. But in this case, I'm going to make them a bit bigger because I'm putting it on this whole card base, and then I would still use the same amount. I just don't have to put it in as many spots. But in this case, you can use it for this one. You can put the bigger ones because this piece is going to have is going to be popped up, and then the other ones are going to be flat onto it. And I kind of like that because it gives you a little sneak peek. And then you can take some of the smaller ones if you need, because I realize now I kind of left a bit of a gap. I don't want this to be all saggy in the middle. That's why there's two big ones in the middle. But I also don't want the edges to be saggy. So I can use the edges, and I have now made my card durable. The other thing too is I watched last year when they did the scrapbook retreat, which I think is at the end of the month. Did I miss it, or is it at the end of the month? I can't remember now. This year. And that's one of the things they said for scrapbooking. Like, people were making fun of how many dimensionals some of the people used. But they said if you're in a binder, or like in a scrapbook album, not a binder, and you have like pictures and foldouts and you're flipping them, you want to make sure that you've got like lots of support on your stuff. The same as when you mail. Like, this stuff is going to get slightly squished a little in the mail. So if you want it to look less squished when you get there, spring on the extra dimensionals. You know what you can do with you know how you can get more dimensionals? Use your Stampin' rewards. Okay, so look at that. I love how popped up this is. Oh, I love it. Okay, so then these ones we're going to pop on. And I'm going to do this just because I know me. And there's a good chance I'm not going to stay in line with that. So we're just going to put... Again, in the instructions, it tells you to use tear and tape because that's what they put in the kit. But I'm using this because I can. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put this, and if you got to look in the instructions because it's showing you to put it up at the top a bit more. I'm winging it. I probably could like dry fit it, but I know roughly what I'm doing, so I'm doing this. And then we're putting this little wood plank. We're pushing it up against it. So as I'm putting it down, I'm pushing it up against it so I don't end up with a gap. There we go. And we want this down a little bit because we're putting this hanging down. So that's why this is not centered. So we're going to just pop some tear and tape onto this one. I'll say what the instructions say. And then this one, I'm hoping I can... Ooh, just about went off the side, but that's okay. Managed to stay in there. So I like when things go off. I probably should have put the happy birthday over just a little bit, because now in order to center my green thing, it's going off the edge a bit. I kind of like when they go off the edge, so I'm not going to worry about it, but not everybody might like that. And so again, you have the same option. You could have put this piece down flat, and then you could have popped some of these up, which in hindsight is what I should have done. As much as I like dimensionals here, I don't want a whole bunch, but I really wish this bike was popped up, but I can't pop up double pop up, or it'll be so thick it won't mail. And there we go. And then this one just shows 3 rocks are designated for this, and they go. And so when there's I like things when there's like 3 different sizes of something. And so in this case, there's not, but you can always angle them and make it look like they're different sizes. Like flip one upside down and it might look like slightly different. So there's card number 2. Like I said, it goes much faster once I stop rambling about all the other things. Look at how cute that is. Flippin' adorable. And then for our last one, and this time I'm actually looking at the instructions because I'm trying to make them the way they're supposed to be made, not just me looking at because usually what I do is I look at this and then I just do it and see what I can figure out. But I mean, there's all these really good instructions I really should do something with. Now, I'm not sure what that sound was. Oh, my son came up. Okay, so for this other card, okay, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm going to do it. I'm thinking as I go which ones I'm using. So I'm going to take these other ones out because I'm going to show you how the thing is set up to go on this. I need a small one for this. That's upside down. And I need this one. Okay, so these ones we need to condition. So the way that this is designed to go is you write thanks, and then there's a son and a dad, the big stamps like this. And the idea is that you stack them on top of the sign. And then you put the... Okay, I'm just going to do it this way because my brain is not thinking fast enough. And then I'm going to put the rope. So I'm going to go with... I'm going to put the biggest stamp first. Just because I think as far as getting them spaced right, that's the easier way to go. And then this one can go on top. And I'm trying to leave room for the rope stamp, right? So I don't want to space these out too much. Okay, so that worked. And then the rope, that's not it. The rope that we used on the first one, which is just a nice little, oh, see. The whole time I was thinking, how come I can't see where I'm going? And I just realized it's because I didn't pull that piece of paper out. There we go. Much easier. I'm going to put that one. And that one. So that's how that's intended to go. And then the way we're going to stack this card up, just a minute. We're using this, but we're going to stack a whole bunch of stuff on it. So we don't want to center this. You'll also see that it's a lot shorter than this whole thing. So we need to offset this kind of on the left-hand side. Oh my gosh, I am rocking it with the skinny stamps this time. My problem with it when it's a really thin sentiment like this, long and skinny, I tend to be really close to the bottom or the top. Like getting it straight's not a problem, getting it side to side, but the top to bottom I usually just suck at. But today I am 3 for 3 on those stamps. Okay, so those ones. This one we're going to just tape in. And because this is a thick one, I left it a second before I did that. Because a darker color or a thicker sentiment, you just want to give it that extra little second to dry so you don't smudge your sentiment. Especially something, well, this one's probably not bad because you could just cut another white square, but especially something like this where you don't get a second chance at it. Okay, so the way this is going to go, and we have to do a little bit of stamping on the base. Excuse me. I'll show you my water bottle so you can see why I went quiet all of a sudden. It's because I was getting a drink. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on here. And we're going to put this. And I'm not putting any of them down yet, but I'm doing this so you can see how the card goes. And sometimes the easiest way to do it is the dry fit. So we put all these on. I know that's got to go higher because that thing's hanging off the edge of the card. And then we're going to put some paddles. And a life jacket. Now, it's showing us that we want to put a little bit of just like extra stamping on here. So we want to stamp the bulrush or the cattails upside down. And we want them to kind of stick out behind the sign and stick out kind of behind the life jacket. So I can see that I want to be beside this knot in the wood. And I want to be just kind of over here somewhere. So by doing that, it gave me a better idea where to randomly stamp. I mean, on here it shows you like these kind of 2 places. But this gives me a good idea where to go and how I'm going to do it to make sure I want to do it the way they're telling me to. And then when I put this on, if I decide that that's not what I want, or if I decide I don't actually want to stamp upside down cattails, well, you don't have to. Or if you decide you want to do it a slightly different way, it's easier to do it before you start attaching things. Okay, so all of these. Okay, so this is gonna, because I want this. I think it's showing me to put this. Oh, I was just looking at the instructions wrong. Sorry. I thought it was telling me to put this on dimensionals on this, which seemed kind of odd considering all the other stuff that has to go on them. So this goes on here because this is what should be on dimensionals. That makes sense. I was just reading the instructions wrong. Okay, and again, just going to use, because this is a big piece, I'm going to use the edges and get some bigger. Got to use my adhesive scissors. I'm going to take that. Now just make sure that you put your cabin right side up. So remember, we were a little bit higher on this because we got to have our sign hanging down side to side, and good. Now these ones, because these ones are going to be half on and half off, we're doing the same thing again on this one, and we're just putting our our dimensionals on the bottom, and then there'll be stuff on the top, and then these are not overlapping. You got to make sure, because wherever they're overlapping, you want to make sure you don't have but they don't really overlap. You just got to make sure that you don't have dimensionals where you don't want them. And then this guy, is going to hang a little bit off the edge, so we're going to do our adhesive most of the way, but not the very edges. And then okay, and then I need a little bit on here where it's going to go. And again, these ones are on the bottom because this is popped up, but this isn't. So instead of having a slope, I probably could have put this one down first so that this was underneath it. But I didn't. We'll just butt it up against it. Actually, I do kind of need it because I put this down a little low. There we go. It's got that slit underneath now. This one must not have rocks on it. No, it doesn't. I was going to say, where would the rocks go on this one? Oh, I put them crooked though. And then, so I'm going to put just a touch on here. With this one. Oops, I threw that right in my ink pad instead of just, I was trying to throw it just kind of off to the side on my desk. Threw it right in my ink pad. There we go. And then this one. Put that one down a little bit. And then where is this? See, this one, I guess it's just a little bit on the top is what's going to hit. Just like that. Yeah. Sorry. Now that I did that, I'm thinking to myself, why is my thing not closed? Okay, so there we go. I'll move all my stuff out of my way. I have all my blocks open. So there we go with our third card. So we have awesome envelopes and awesome cards. Oh my goodness, I love these. Like I said, all on its own, this would be a very popular kit. But given that the global market is now starting in April, I think this is one of those kits that if you really want this kit, subscribe. If you need help, let me know. I'm home all day today. I can help you. I can send you the link and you can just follow it's very easy to subscribe. Or let me know if you want me to get you an extra kit. Because I have this kit, I actually paused my April kit, but I can easily add it back on and get another one if somebody wants it that way. If you have any questions about Paper Pumpkin or whatever, it's like I said, just drop me a message or whatever. the deadline. I'm going to write this just in case somebody's watching and not listening. Deadline to subscribe. Oops, subscribe. And that's for this kit is 23:59, 11:59 p.m. for those who don't do military time tonight. Okay? No excuses if you miss this kit. Tonight is the deadline to subscribe if you want this kit. Okay? Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. And like I said, I'm here if you need me. And catch you on the next video. Bye.